Alright, a couple of questions came up for 11.3 and 11.4. You have to remember these are composite figures, okay? These figures right here, they're made up of smaller regular figures. Could be circles, could be rectangles, could be parallelograms, trapezoids. They're all stuck together to form some weird shape. So to find the area would be to tear them apart, find the area of each little part, and then add them together. Make your life easy. For example, number 1, I have a trapezoid down here, and then I have a parallelogram right there. So, split it into 2. This is 1, this is 2. Those are the 2 areas I need to find. I'm going to make my life a lot easier just by doing simple. So this is the parallelogram. We have the height times the base. Here's my height. Here is my base. So this becomes 14 times 23, which ends up being 322. Perfect. So now I need to find out the area of the trapezoid. The area of a trapezoid, well, that's this formula. 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times the height of the trapezoid. So this ends up being 1/2. We know this right here because he's the same as that one. So 15 plus the second base, 34, and then we have the height times 19. These two together add up to, or multiply out to be 465.5. Now the only thing I got to do now is I got to put this one and this one together. These two add and they equal 787.5 centimeters squared. We move on to the second page of that assignment in homework 3, and that's question number 9 was the one that was brought up to me. I think I went over this one, but just in case, I'll go over it again. Alright, so how do I figure out that shaded region? Well, you gotta kind of think outside the box. If I were to connect this line right here, well, overall, this becomes a parallelogram. It's a huge picture. If I want to know how much that shaded region is, well, I just need to know how much is the entire parallelogram. I need to know the full parallelogram, and then I got to take away the triangle, this guy. So if I get the full parallelogram and I take away that triangle, I figure out what the area is. So let's go with that. Here's the parallelogram. Alright, so let's figure out the area of my parallelogram, which was again base times height. Base, height, so we have 23.8 times 15, which is equal to, let's see what that is, 357. Awesome. Okay, so here's the difficult part. I need to find the area of the triangle. Okay. But to figure out this area right here, I need to know this piece. I'm given this side, and I'm given that side, because he's the same as the one on the bottom. So this is 23.8. I have all two sides. We just need the third side of a right triangle. So guess who I'm going to use? I'm going to use the Pythagorean theorem. This is 23.8. This is 21. And I'm solving for this. This is C. This is my hypotenuse. So it doesn't matter who A or B is. So I'll say this is A and this is B. So here we go. X squared plus 21 squared equals 23.8 squared. That ends up being 21 squared x squared plus 441 equals 566.4. Then we subtract 441, and we have x squared is equal to 125.44. We want to get rid of the square root, the power of 2, so we square root both sides. And my result for x is equal to 11.2. I now have the equation, or the information, for this area is base times height. So base is 11 point, hold on, equals 1/2 times 11.2 times 21. This ends up being 117.6. So now these two you subtract. So your total shaded area equals 239.4 feet squared. Okay, for now we're turning to homework on 11.4. That's homework 4. We're dealing with area of regular figures, meaning we have to work with a particular formula. Area is equal 1/2 times what's called the apothem times perimeter. Okay. Finding perimeter is not hard as long as you know the side, but if you don't know the side, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to have to use either the Pythagorean theorem or SOHCAHTOA to solve for this. Okay. Each one of your calculators on your phones, or you can find one online, you can grab one that will help you use SOHCAHTOA or the trig functions to solve for these angles. So what they're using on this problem, or this problem, is they're using either SOHCAHTOA or they're using the special right triangles. I prefer you use SOHCAHTOA. It's a lot easier. So that's how I'm going to proceed for number 3. Okay. So we have the apothem. The apothem is always going to be the distance from the center to the wall. So I already have most of that equation. I have A is equal to 15, but I need the perimeter. To get the perimeter, I need to know this side. Well, the easiest way for me to solve that would be to create a right triangle, find out what this angle right here is, so that I can solve for this little piece. This little piece is the same as this one. So once I find this, I can multiply it times 2 and I have the full side. So how do I figure out that little bitty angle? Well, in the instructions it said you're going to have to use this formula first. You're going to have to find out how many degrees are inside this figure. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a hexagon. So we're going to do this. And we're going to solve that. This ends up being 720 degrees inside the whole thing. Well, if I want to know just one angle, well, it's a hexagon. So one angle equals 720 divided by 6. That's 120. We know that this piece right here is a full angle. This whole thing is 120 degrees. Well, it's a regular polygon. All of these are regular polygon, which means this line right here is cutting it in half. So you have 60 degrees. So if I'm going to do this triangle, I'm going to take it out. This is 60. This side length is 15, and I need to know this piece. So I'm going to use SOHCAHTOA. This 15 is opposite. This is adjacent. SOHCAHTOA. So we're using tangent. Okay. Let's move it over here to the blank side. So if I'm going to use TOA, well, it's tangent of 60 is opposite over adjacent. These swap. So we have x is equal to 15 divided by tangent 60. And you get 8.66. Similar to what you have on the notes. Or actually, I don't know if you have the notes. Okay, so now that I have x, let's go back here. I'm going to erase this piece right here. This guy is 8.66. That means that this guy is also 8.66. Both of them together add up to 17.32. We now know that one full side is 17.32. If there are 6 of them, 17.32 times 6 is equal to 103.92. That's your perimeter, 103.92. I have everything I need now to solve the rest of this problem. So let's erase this. Now I'm going to plug in. Area is 1/2 the apothem times the perimeter. My area ends up being 779.4 inches squared. I didn't say this would be easy. So we had a question on number 9. Alright, so number 9, we're given a side. We have to fulfill that formula. So the formula, again, 1/2 the apothem and the perimeter. I'm going to say it's safe to say that the perimeter here, we can solve number 9. the one we're working on, we have 28. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, so that would be 6 times 28 is going to give you the perimeter. We have 168 as your perimeter. Perfect. Alright. We need to solve for the apsum. We need to know what is the distance from here to here. So the rule said, or the instruction said, you're going to have to create a right triangle, okay? Bam, bam. We need this guy, which means I need to solve for this angle right here. So first thing you got to do, again, I already know this one because we just worked on number 3, which was also a hexagon. 700. $720. And if I want to know one full angle, 720 divided by 6, and you get 120. And if I want to know that little bitty one, it's going to be 120 divided by 2. It's 60. So now that we know this, we kind of tear out that triangle. This angle right here is 60 degrees. We want to know this side. Well, if this whole thing is 28, then this little piece has to be 14. Alright, so let's label opposite, adjacent. We're going to have to use TOA again. We're going to have to use, and I'll do it over here. Let's do it on the blank side. Tangent 60 is equal to x over opposite over adjacent. For this situation, if I want to solve for x, I'm just going to multiply both sides times 14. That gets rid of this, and I'm left with x is equal to 14 times tangent 60. This ends up being 24.25. My apothem is 24.25. Alright, time to fill in. Here is 1/2 times 24.25 times the perimeter of 168. This all adds up or multiplies to 2,037 meters squared. That is your answer. Last question I got was on 13. This is similar to 11.3. I need to get the big circle first. Okay. The area of the big circle. That shouldn't be too hard because I'm already given the radius. So we're going to have area of a circle is pi r squared, which is pi 4 squared, which is 16 pi, and I'm asking you to use 3.14, so let's go with that. You can get 50.24. So we got the area of the circle. That was easy. What we have to do is now we have to take away 1, 2, 3, 4. We have to take away that hexagon, that big white hexagon, all that white area. We got to get rid of it. Problem is, we need to get his area, which means I need to know the apothem right there. I also need to know this side right here, so I can solve for the perimeter. Okay, we're still filling in this formula, 1/2 apothem perimeter. So I need to find both of those. Alright, so here we go. We know it's a hexagon. We know that we're dealing with 60 degrees. This little piece right here is 60 degrees. I'm only saying that is because the last two problems we did were hexagons. So I already know that. I don't want to have to do all that work again. So we have that triangle right there. We have a right triangle right here. We know this is 60 degrees. And I need to know this. And I know this is this. So we're going to solve for, first I'm going to label this XA for apothem, and I'm going to label this X side. Alright, so let's find the apothem first. Okay, so this is the cross, opposite. This is the hypotenuse. So we're going to use sine of 60 is opposite over hypotenuse. If I'm going to solve this, I'm going to multiply both sides times 4. So x is equal to 4 times sine 60. So my apothem is going to be 3.46. A is equal to 3.46. So now that we know this, I'm going to solve for this guy. Well, this is adjacent. This is hypotenuse, so we're going to use cosine of 60 is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. Same thing, multiply both sides times 4, and we have x is equal to 2. So now that we know that x is equal to 2, I'm going to erase this piece right here. X is this piece. So we know that this piece is 2. Then I know that this piece is 2. So all of it is 4. there are 6 sides, so 6 times 4. My perimeter ends up being 24. So now we substitute 1/2 times 3.46 times 24, and we get 41.52. Area of a hexagon is equal to 41.52. These two subtract, and you should get a total 8.75 feet squared. Hopefully this helps.